You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
What's up, Black and White Sports fans? John Matrix here, and I'm back with another video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, check out the join button for channel memberships and check out the merch. I'm rocking the stand-up 1776 shirt because Dontari Poe needed to stand up for the national anthem, and now, folks, he is no longer on the Dallas Cowboys. I put up a video yesterday, and the news broke that the Cowboys were trying to trade Dontari Poe, but they informed him if they could not trade him, that he would be released. And, folks, they could not trade him. So Dontari Poe has been released by Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. The only Dallas Cowboys player to kneel for the national anthem is no longer a Dallas Cowboy. And not only was he the only Dallas Cowboys player to kneel for the national anthem this season, he's the only one, period, that has ever kneeled for the anthem with the Dallas Cowboys. Because all of the other players, they were standing up for the national anthem, okay? So now that he is no longer a member of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones was asked, was kneeling a part of the reason why he was actually cut? Now, this is coming from the woke sports media, okay? Now, anybody that's actually watched the Dallas Cowboys this season knows that that defense was atrocious. And I already told you guys yesterday that the stats for Dontari Poe were horrific to actually look at, okay? He played on 253 snaps, if I remember correctly. He had a grand total of 7 tackles and 0 sacks. The man was terrible. There's no other way to put it, folks. His performance was awful, okay? And when it comes to Jerry Jones actually addressing the kneeling part, Jerry Jones refuses to even get into that, okay? And actually what he does, he absolutely destroys Dontari Poe for being fat and lazy. So that was the two factors of Dontari Poe actually getting released, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure that there's some SJWs out there that are going to be freaking out. I'm talking about SJWs that don't watch the NFL, probably know next to nothing about the NFL other than kneeling for the national anthem, okay? But this is what Jerry Jones actually had to say about Dontari Poe when he was actually asked about if kneeling came into the decision to release Dontari Poe. This is what Jerry Jones said. He said, quote, "When you're 30 pounds overweight and you're not doing anything about what's keeping you from performing well on the field, there's no reason to get into that other stuff." And the other stuff, of course, is kneeling for the national anthem. He continues on, "I understand your question, and I'm deliberately not going to answer it. We have a platform here, but the platform on the football field has a high standard, and Poe was not up to the standard. He needed to correct that, and he did not. I'm going to leave it at that." Close quote. Dontari Poe, man, they signed this guy to about $9 million over 2 years, and he was fat. 30 pounds overweight, man. That is the reason why he was released. And not only just that, he made no effort to correct his weight problem. And I think that is what really, really upset Jerry Jones, man. Because if you're that overweight, man, and when you're carrying all that weight, man, it's going to be hard to perform at a high level, okay? Now, of course, you guys have seen defensive players, you know, their biggest houses, man, but there's a difference between, you know, fat and muscle, okay? There's a complete difference, okay? So if somebody is 250 pounds, pure muscle, that is different than somebody at 250 pounds of pure fat, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, he weighed somewhere between 230 and 250. He was pure muscle. But if you're, you know, my height, I'm 5'6", and you weigh 250 pounds, that's not exactly the same, man. That is complete body fat. It does nothing for performance, okay? But for Dontari Poe to show up to the team 30 pounds overweight and make no effort, I don't even want to hear any questions about kneeling for the national anthem, okay? Maybe just maybe if he actually got off his knees, because we know his knees have gotten a great workout kneeling for the national anthem. Maybe if he stood up, maybe if he just got a little bit more active, respected the country, stopped being lazy, because that's essentially what Jerry Jones called him. He called him lazy. He called him a fat ass, and he called him lazy. That's pretty much what Jerry Jones said. Not those exact words, but you can tell that Jerry Jones was not happy with Dontari Poe. And Jerry Jones, man, when you watch the Dallas Cowboys, they're 2-5 right now. In some kind of way, they're still in the division race. They're only a half game out. They sit at 2-5, but every other team in the division is an absolute disaster. I mean, Philly leads this division. Their record is 2-4-1. They look horrible. And of course, Washington, the Giants, they're horrible too. But I guess when you're the Dallas Cowboys, you sit at 2-5, and it doesn't seem like there's a game that you can win, even though I do believe they play the Giants. I'm not even going to guarantee a victory for them on that day. And Jerry Jones, man, is looking at this Dallas Cowboys team, and he's thinking, man, I don't know if I've ever seen the Dallas Cowboys team this bad since I bought the team back in 1989. And when he bought the team back in 89, that was a 1-15 team. I mean, they were awful. But I can't remember a defense looking this horrible. I mean, it is absolutely atrocious. And of course, on the offense, they're turning the ball over like crazy. It's a disaster. Dak is out for the season. The backup goes out. The Red Rifle, he goes out last week with a concussion. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Cowboys. It's bad. But when you have all of those factors, Jerry Jones, I believe, reached a breaking point. Okay? A breaking point. And Dontari Poe, he needed to go. I'm not going to pay a guy, $9 million to not get in shape, not show up in shape. And I get that everybody was quarantining, but hey, you can still work out. Me, myself, I've lost over 25 pounds this year, pretty much being in my house. But when you're a world-class athlete, man, you are expected to show up in shape. And Dontari Poe, he didn't want to do that. But he wanted to kneel for the national anthem, okay? And I'm glad that Jerry didn't actually address that, because that shouldn't even come into play. Even though I do believe that did come into play a little bit, but Jerry Jones, of course, is not going to address that. Jerry Jones is talking about strictly performance on the field, and Dontari Poe did not perform. I'm actually glad that he came out and he slammed Dontari Poe, saying that the guy showed up 30 pounds overweight and did nothing to get rid of the weight. That is just pure laziness, folks. So that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Jerry Jones slamming Dontari Poe for being fat and lazy and making no effort whatsoever to lose the weight. When you're 2-5, man, you're going to be on a short leash, okay? Kneeling for the national anthem, that shouldn't even come into play. But I'm just glad that the guy's gone. I really, really am. I know the networks aren't showing the national anthem protests anymore. That's good. But Jerry Jones still sees it every single game. And he's watching Dontari Poe, and he's seeing that Dontari Poe wasn't performing, wasn't working out. So he has to go. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.